I'm Deb, yoga instructor here at the Kamloops YMCA. I'll be leading you through a yoga flow class today. So come to a comfortable seat on your mats and just enjoy settling into your space. Think about letting the outside world go, bringing the palms to the top of the legs. And I invite you to just close your eyes here. Listening to the sound of my voice. And begin to take a nice deep breath in through the nose, lengthening out through the spine, rising through the crown of the head, drawing the navel to spine, and pouring out the exhale through the mouth. Take a few deep breaths here, continuing that rhythm. Letting everything else go. Notice the softness begin to wash over you. Noticing the settling of the sit bones. Noticing the quality and the length of the breath. So begin to softly open the eyes, taking them out in front. A nice soft gaze. Not staring intently at any one thing. Let us come fully present in this moment. I invite you to take the hands out to the sides, soft fingertips, and rise up. Nice big inhale. Good. Fingertip to fingertip. Exhale, softening down. I'm just feeling the air float within the fingertips. As they rise up, feeling expansion of the rib cage. Exhale, softening down. Almost beginning to melt the backside of your body towards the mat. Nice big inhale on the rise. Exhale, soften the fingertips down. Coming to one side, tent the fingertips and just draw that ear to shoulder. Let the head grow nice and heavy. It's warming up through the neck, through the shoulders. Beautiful. Rising the opposite fingertip up overhead, lengthening out through the side body. Breathe new life into that side body. Take a nice deep breath through the rib cage. Good. Perhaps passing the gaze up to sky. Remember, you're doing what you're comfortable with. This is your practice. If something doesn't feel right in your body, just gently back it off a bit. Good. Rising up out of the side body. Slowly softening down. Coming to the opposite hand, tented fingertips. And just take that ear, passing it gently weighted towards the shoulder. Taking your time, feeling every movement, connecting our breath through the movements. Good. On your next inhale, rise up the fingers, reaching them overhead, lengthening out through the side body. Breathe into it. Perhaps taking the gaze to sky, doing what your neck is comfortable with. Continuing to draw greater awareness to the breath. Beautiful. Coming back through center, nice and tall. Let's just walk the fingertips out in front. And as we begin to hug that chin towards the chest, rounding through the spine, dropping that crown of the head, the top of the head towards the floor. On your next inhale, filling up through the back side of the body. Exhale, soften. the heart towards the floor, a little closer to the earth, relaxing the shoulders from ears. Just letting go. Let that head become weighted. Playing around here with any side-to-side motion through the head. A gentle awakening of the spine. Some new energy, some new life. Rising back up, stacking the spine. Coming back to neutral. Good. As we come back to that original side, tented fingertips, rise up out of the side body. Perhaps going a little bit deeper on the exhale. Pressing out through the opposite hip. Good. And let's take that hand across to the opposite knee, walking the fingertips towards the tail, rising up out of the spine. So really reach up out of the back of the body. And as we come into a twist, let's make sure we're not leading from our head and our neck, but instead originate that twist from the tail and the hips. So almost like you're wringing your spine out like a dishcloth. Every single vertebrae, find some movement, and the shoulders, the head come last. Join me here in a nice inhale. Every inhale, we take in a little bit more. In every exhale, we sink a little bit deeper. Slowly floating back through center, coming to the opposite side. Tented fingertips nice and gentle, rising up, bringing new life, new breath into that side body. Taking the hands across. Good. Tented fingertips. Rise up first out of the spine, originating the twist from the tail, from the hips, and then lastly through the head. Breathe here. Slowly coming back through center. Let's just walk those hands around through the back. We're going to roll those shoulders up and sink through the shoulder blades. Settle them down the back, rising the gaze to sky. Taking the inhale through the nostrils. Lifting up through the heart, feeling a warmth begin to surround the heart. Exhale, soften. Beautiful. Walking the palms towards the front of the knees and slowly begin to roll under, tucking the tail, rolling the chin to chest. Just enjoy that movement through the spine, creating some nice flexion through the spine. And on your next inhale, finding some extension, soaring that heart forward, releasing the shoulders from ears, take the gaze up. Continuing to find that mindful movement through our breath. We're going to exhale as we round. Inhale as we rise the heart. Good. Feeling new life, new energy. Exhale, round. One more time, soar that heart forward. Beautiful. Coming back to center. Good. Taking those legs out in front. Let's give them a little shake out. And notice which leg was crossed in front, because we're going to come to the other side. First, let's give a wiggle through our seat. Flex those toes back towards you, and then give a nice little point to the toes. A flex and a point, warming up the ankle joints. Bringing the toes back. Flex. Good. Let's walk the hands out to the sides, tented fingertips, taking those toes, a little bit of space between the toes as they reach back towards the heart, rising up And hinge into our first forward fold, nice and gentle. Good. Making sure you're going where you're comfortable. Invite you to walk the hands out in front, perhaps even using the tips of the fingertips as traction as we lengthen out through the spine. And on your exhale, we collapse forward, sinking a little bit deeper. One more inhale here, halfway lift. Exhale, sinking a little bit deeper. Beautiful, walking the hands back, rippling up through the spine, nice and tall. Resting that head right in line with the heart. Good, we're gonna take that opposite foot in front. So whatever foot was in front before, let's switch. Good, again, if one leg doesn't work for you, you can have one leg out. This is your practice. You do what you're comfortable with. We're going to create a nice little opening through the hips, tucking back, navel to spine, and then rolling around. Pick one direction. We'll do both sides. Finding a little bit more connection with our breath through the movement. So listening to that quality through your breath. Taking in a nice big inhale. Every exhale, we settle a little bit more. Fully present in this moment. We let everything else go. Yoga's about the movement, but it's also about the mindfulness. So be gentle with yourself. Honor that you're here today, that you made it, and just enjoy the process as we continue to breathe. Good, hinging that heart forward, and when you're ready, moving in the opposite direction. Creating a nice hip circle. Good, I invite you to continue to check in with your breath. One more time. Good, coming back, nice and tall, and bringing the hands to heart center. Taking a moment here. Just checking in with how you feel. Taking a few breaths. Good. Pressing away through the palms, rounding through the back. Drawing those ears towards the biceps, drawing the navel to spine, and creating a C shape through the spine. Good, perhaps dropping through one shoulder. So lifting up out of the back of one shoulder blade, rolling through center, dropping through the opposite shoulder, rolling through center, rising the fingertips all the way up. Take the gaze with you. And slowly softening the fingers to side. Beautiful. We're going to bring the feet around, coming onto a table. So stacking the knees right in line with the shoulders. Some distance through the fingertips. Stack them right in line with the shoulders. Knees in line with the hips. Navel to spine. Nice flat back. Taking the gaze off the top of your mat, softening those shoulders away, a gentle bend through the elbows, and really think about the crown of the head being an extension of the tail. Playing around here with a little wiggle side to side through the hips. Good, and coming back to a neutral spine, perhaps a lifting up through the toes, point the toes, and then tap them down. And as we point this time, giving them a little flex under, creating a little energetic quality through the base of the feet as we just take the seat, sit back, adding a little stretch, and then charging the heart back forward. Option here to keep the toes tucked or flat, whatever works for you. Good. We're going to tuck under through the tail, drawing the chin to chest, rounding through our cat back. Nice big inhale. Reaching that tail to sky, softening the shoulders from ears, dropping the belly, finding a generous extension through the spine that works for you. Taking the gaze way out in front. Continuing here, exhale as you round. Inhale, extending that spine forward. Good, finding your flow, finding your breath. Exhale, rounding. Every time, perhaps rounding a little bit more. Inhale, reaching out of the crown of the head, finding a little bit of space between each vertebrae. Taking your time. Good. One more round. Just enjoy that sensation of movement through the spine. Almost like your spine is riding on an ocean wave. Good. The ebb and flow of the movement. Coming back to neutral. Let's take the knees as wide as we need. Untuck your toes, sinking back towards child's pose. We're going to root down here, walking the hands out in front, creating as much space as possible for our hips, our pelvic floor to begin to sink. Our belly sinks, our heart sinks down, drawing the forehead towards the mat. Nice big inhale here, breathing new life into the side body, through the back of the body, and along the entire length of the spine. On your next inhale, walk those fingertips even a little bit further out in front. Just notice how that feels. Perhaps even tenting the fingertips, lifting up out of the forearm. Taking a nice big breath. Exhale, sink. One more time. As we begin to root down through the hands, rising through the heart, bringing those knees back, hip width apart, curling under through the toes, preparing the body to reach up into downward dog. Let's bring the fingertips down, pressing the two peace fingers towards the top of the mat, so nice alignment, and rising up into our downward dog. This is going to look different for every body. You do what you're comfortable with here. Begin to walk the dog, so finding that nice movement from the ankles, the knees, and the hips. Back and forth. Good. Begin to sink back through both heels, taking a nice big inhale. Filling up. Exhale, drawing that heart a little closer to the top of the thighs. reaching out from the tail, let it rise up, creating a little bit more length through the back of the body, through the back of the legs. Bringing the gaze towards the hands and just begin to walk the feet towards the hands. Good. Making your way here to forward fold. Take a peek at your toes. Give a little lift back and forth through the toes. Let the head become heavy. Allow that head to sink down. Giving it a little shake. Letting go of any cobwebs through the head. Nice big inhale as we hinge forward. And exhale, soften down. Good. We're going to stack the spine here, skimming the hands up the front of the body, taking your time, rising all the way up, letting the head come up last. Good. Notice how you feel. Give a nice little shift side to side, lifting up out of the feet. Good. And as we become nice and centered in our mountain, our strong roots through our feet, allow those feet to soften. So we're not gripping towards the mat, but instead just give them a nice little patting, almost like they're floating on a cloud. On your next inhale, let's just rise up through the shoulders. Again, finding that connection of breath to movement. Exhale, soften, sliding the shoulders down the back of the body. Inhale, we rise. Exhale, soften. One more time. Beautiful. Softness around our knees. We're never locking our joints out. A slight tuck under through the tail and drawing that head back in alignment with the heart. So we're not reaching out of the front of the body. Instead, nice and strong here. Finding a nice stillness. Beautiful. As we soften through the knees, let's sweep up on the inhale, rising. Take the gaze up, take the fingertips, reaching towards the sky. Lift up out of the front of the body, out of the ribs, creating a little bit more space. Exhale, soften down. Nice big inhale on the rise. Exhale, release. Good. Taking your time here, really finding that connection of your breath and letting everything else go. One more time, reach it all the way up. Good. Bringing the hands over to one side, reach out of the opposite hip. Option to take the gaze to sky. Coming back through center. Let's just walk back and forth like we're gonna pick apples off the tree and we need to grow a little bit taller. Finding that length through the back of the body. Back and forth. Beautiful. Reaching both hands to sky. Hinging in the opposite direction. Pressing out through the opposite hip. Taking your time here. Option to bring the gaze up. And on the exhale, reaching a little bit more. Sinking a little bit deeper. Good. Nice big inhale. Coming back through center. We're going to take that seat way back behind as we hinge forward. Forward fold, going where you're comfortable. Again, this can look different for everybody as well. You might be up here. You might keep your head above your heart. Wherever you are, Keeping a softness through the knees and letting that head grow nice and heavy. Good. Option to clasp the opposite elbow. Weighted down through the head, letting the spine go. On your next inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, soften with a generous bend through the knees. So nice strength building through the legs, nice and slow, rising up. Reverse swan dive up, palm to palm. Exhaling, hands to heart. Good, let's do that again. Nice big inhale. We rise. Exhale, forward fold. So great for your spine. Halfway lift on the inhale. Sliding those shoulder blades back. Creating length of the spine. Really think about charging out of the crown of the head, releasing the ears from shoulders, a softness around the knee. On your next exhale, soften. Good, perhaps even walking out, back and forth. Taking your time. Good, and when you're ready, reverse swan dive, rising all the way up on your inhale. Hands settle at the heart. Taking a moment here. Just breathe. Good. Walking the feet fairly wide onto your mat. Notice the base of your feet here. So we're not going to roll in through the knees or roll out, but instead really keeping some nice balance between the big toe, the little toe, and the heel. That's called our lotus foot, a nice softening down. So again, I'm not gripping, everything nice and soft. Okay, we're gonna come to a wide-legged fold first. So we're gonna bring our hands out like a T and then rise them up. Nice big inhale, coming back to a T, sending that seat way back, dropping that forehead. So you might find here that you can go just a little bit deeper, drawing that forehead, the crown of the head a little closer to the floor, rising on the inhale. Exhale, soften. Beautiful. Beautiful. You're going to stack one hand in line with the shoulder, taking the opposite hand, and I invite you to just adding a little bit of a bind across the opposite hip or wherever is comfortable for you. Taking the gaze over that shoulder. Option to rise up through the fingertips. Slowly softening that hand down. Taking that opposite hand, letting it float up, passing it on to the opposite hip. Perhaps even charging it up to sky. Slowly letting it float down. Good, creating a little bit of space for our seat. Drop through the seat just slightly, creating a bit more strength through the quads. And then rising up. One more time, nice and soft. Exhale, soften the seat towards the floor. And inhale, rise. This time rising all the way up. Let's ragdoll the hands, stacking the spine. Take your time. Beautiful. Coming all the way up. Good. And give it a little shake out. Give the knees a little shake out. Good. We're going to take one toe towards the top of the mat, coming to extended side angle. That back foot, remember, we're not going to roll it in on the knee. We're going to keep that back toe nice and rooted. And just give a little bit of a bend through that front leg. keeping that leg in nice alignment with the toe, and really enjoying that sinking through the hips as we begin to open the hips. Notice what your shoulders are doing here so we can roll them down and back. As we find our breath. Good. We can take a nice sinking here and adding a nice warrior two. A softness of the gaze over the front thumb. Charging wall to wall, lift up out of the heart, and a slight tuck under through the tail. Core engaged, sink a little bit deeper. Okay, so sink a little bit deeper. Skimming that backhand down, rise up through the fingertips, lift up out of the heart, let the head take a back seat. Good. Walking that hand either to the front of the knee or elbow, extended side angle, bringing that back hip and shoulder. Lifting up out of the side body, reaching through the fingertips. Breathing here. Good, walking that hand. Turning that back heel up, framing that front foot, allow that foot to step back, high plank. Slowly soften those elbows in, sinking down, take your time. Allowing that belly to sink, gluing down through the tops of the feet, hugging those elbows in, rising up, out of the heart, out of the head, low cobra. And slowly soften down. Beautiful. Creating as much width as you need through your knees. Sinking back, child's pose. Option here to take a more restorative child's pose, wrapping the hands around the heels, sinking a little bit deeper. Allowing the entire body to begin melting towards the mat. As we continue to awaken through the spine, we're just going to round up, bringing the feet out in front, walking the feet slightly wider than mat width apart, bringing the base of the feet nice and soft to roots, walking the hands around, and just adding a little bit of a windshield wiper through the knees, side to side. Continuing to connect your breath to the movement, taking your time here. Good. We're going to walk the knees over to one side, wrapping that opposite arm up and over, and just allowing a gentle bow down. A humble bow towards the floor. Good. Windshield wipering that arm all the way over, taking the knees with you, coming all the way across. back through center. Beautiful, walking those legs out in front. Walking the hands out, tented fingers. Continuing to soften those roots through the tail towards the floor. Taking the feet back towards you, a nice big sweeping inhale. And hinge, forward fold. Halfway lift on your inhale. Exhale, soften. Stacking the spine, take your time. Good. Coming back towards a comfortable seat, whatever that looks like for you. Good. Walking one hand out to the side, tented fingers, and this time dropping the ear towards the opposite shoulder. Taking the chin down and across the opposite fingertips and drawing the chin down to chest. Allowing the head to become weighted. And on your next inhale, rolling back through center, nice and tall. Placing that hand on the knee, opposite fingertips, tent down, taking that ear to shoulder. Bringing the chin across to the opposite fingertips. And floating the chin nice and heavy down to chest. On the next inhale, rolling back nice and tall. Walking the hand back to the knee. Bringing the hands to heart center. Take a moment here. Walking the feet back out in front, hugging the knees and the toes towards the center line of the body. Rolling back through the shoulders, lifting up out of the heart, scooping behind the back of the knees, lifting those toes up, and coming to our boat. Core engaged, a nice full breath. Option to release behind the knees, finding a nice energetic quality through the fingertips. One more breath here. Slowly softening down. We're going to roll down onto our backs now. If it's more comfortable for you to come onto one side and meet us on your back, you do what's comfortable for you. Bringing our hands to the top of the knees, we're slowly just going to hug under to begin. Rolling that chin to chest and just softening the shoulders down, and then begin to slowly roll down, gluing down through the bottom of the feet, until we're coming wall to wall. Reaching up, hands overhead, reaching feet away. Taking a nice big belly breath here. Exhale, let it go. Good. I invite you to walk the knees into chest, giving them a nice hug. Good, and just walking the knees one side to the other, rocking back and forth. As we begin to settle down onto our mat, let's just take our feet up, legs up the wall, walking the palms down by the sides. Notice what the back of the body's doing through the back of the head and the shoulders, just Just letting everything go. Good. Slowly softening the feet. As we make our way to our Shavasana, options to turn our palms up towards the sky or bringing them down towards the floor, whatever works for you. Palms up adds a little bit more energetic quality. Palms down if you're doing this practice right before bed, or if you're feeling like you need to rest a bit, then finding those roots through the base of the finger, giving the toes a little wiggle side to side. And just begin to slowly soften. Starting at the top of the head, softening through the back of the head, nuzzling those shoulders under. Sinking down through the spine, giving a little wiggle through the hips, giving permission to our strong glute muscles to just let go, soften towards the mat, through the entire back of the legs, all the way to the toes, giving them a nice wiggle. A nice big belly breath here. Good. And finding a few moments of stillness. I invite you to close your eyes here. Wiggling through the fingers, a gentle wiggle and a curl of the toes. I invite you to slowly roll over onto one side, taking your time. As you begin to awaken, walking up to a comfortable seat. This can be whatever feels good for your body right here. Notice how you feel from the start of class to finish. Bring your hands out to the side. Let's see if we can breathe in a little bit more than we did at the start of our practice. Nice big inhale. Exhale, let it go. 2 more, nice big inhale. Exhale. 1 more. Soak it all in, bringing the hands to heart center. As we close our practice together today, I just want to thank you for joining and just being super comfortable with what you did and where you're at, remembering your body is changing from day to day. Again, my name's Deb. I'm a yoga teacher here at the Kamloops YMCA. Feel free to come see me, ask questions, whatever it takes, and we hope to see you soon. Namaste, which translates to, the light in me recognizes the light in each of you. Namaste.